Hello everyone! Today, instead of a normal update of Knuckles Chaotix, we've got a special treat for you. The first known and released prototype/tech demo of Knuckles Chaotix, a game straight for the Genesis called Sonic Crakkaz. If you can call it a game anyway. It's really a very simple demo featuring Sonic and Tails and a couple of stages. Also the Chaotix music, with drum tracks that are in a format that the Genesis on its own can play. You'll notice, if you recall the sound test video, there was the 4 PWM channels. This just uses the Genesis's single sampling thing, so it's just one drum sample at a time. Though I will admit this, these are much nicer drum sounds than what they had in the original game. Or in the actual game, I should say. One could argue this is the original game. Also, one of the other things that they've changed, or did not yet implement, is the fact that the controls are just the jump and hold together combination. There's no way to jump while holding, and there's no way to hold without jumping. Similarly, there's also no way to hold without jump without holding, or hold without jumping. Whichever one, I didn't actually say. And so, that's the end of the first level. And it plays the game over theme when we actually complete it. Also, if we run out of time, which for that level is 3 minutes. Now we're in a little segment here that may have possibly been intended as a demo for something along the lines of what Sonic 3 was originally planned to be, an isometric game, or Sonic 3D Blast. You'll notice in the background there you've got 2 layers of clouds. What they've done is they've split up every other line, so they rotate, or they scroll in such a way that it looks like there are 2 layers. Gunstar Heroes, the pink stage, actually did the same thing past Bravo Man. If you take a look at the video, you might be able to see it. I don't know if it's of high enough quality. I don't even know if this is. But, yeah, there might be a video out there somewhere. Also, you'll notice that the song is similar to Electoria, that is, the song that plays for the Techno Tower, I nearly said Titanic Tower, the Techno Tower stage of Chaotix. Also, this level's a lot less complete. And, despite having the music for Techno Tower, it looks suspiciously like Speed Slider. Also, unlike with Techno Tower, this level really doesn't have an ending as such. It just loops on itself multiple times. Odds are you'll fall off of the level, but you can't really die because of the way it's structured. I think it's primarily intended to be a demo, possibly for the sound engine as used in Chaotix, and also, excuse me for a moment, also for the basic gameplay mechanic. Now, I've never really bothered to check enough to see if it actually uses multiple FM channels and the DAC, like 6 channels and that, but it's possible. If you want to hear the full soundtrack, probably the best place to do that would be a site called Project 2612. If you have Winamp, you can download an extension called nvgm.dll that will allow you to play files that are basically rips of what the Genesis sound processor is processing at the time. Note that this cannot in fact be done for Knuckles Chaotix because it uses samples for the 32X sound chip that is not actually yet supported. I don't know if there are plans to support it, but I'd at least like to think there are. Also, you'll notice that this level looks rather similar to the first one, and is of course largely what the design of Techno Tower seems to be based on, a vertical level in a somewhat mechanical area. That said though, the graphics to me seem a bit more reminiscent of what you might see in Sonic 2. Like in Chemical Plant particularly, with the meshy mech type of stuff, rather than the slightly more cartoony and silly types of graphics you'll see. Also, you'll notice I just hit those spikes, and even though I don't actually have any rings, I lost all of mine. Yeah, I guess it's just for the sake of saying, okay, that's what happens when you get hit and lose your rings, if that was going to happen. No. Alright, what I'm going to do, pause button does that. You fool around like that. I'm stuck, actually. But if I hit the overhead spikes, that's not necessarily going to happen. That is what does happen, though, when you hit the overhead spikes sometimes, though. You fall, and then you go into this little rotation-y period here where you act like you're drunk. Same thing for screw it. Tails has a similar one. There are animation frames out there on the web somewhere. I don't think I'll be showing them to you anytime right now, and my goodness, the items are really glitchy at the moment. Okay. If I had done it right, I probably could have slingshotted right there up to the top when Sonic faded out. With the hold and jump maneuver, it's really easy to do slingshot stuff like that and get up to the top rather quickly. You'll also notice that the palette had changed between them, suggesting that, in fact, when they had originally come up with the idea for this game, sort of like how they had time zones in Sonic 2, which presumably were also planned for Sonic 2 according to some documents and interviews, they had for a long time decided that they would have a time of day gimmick in this game. And this is the same thing, so I'm just going to skip forward through this so that we can see the other two incarnations of this level here. It's, once again, just the exact same thing. Sonic and Tails are running along on a vertical level with mech-type areas. Now, the controls aren't completely perfect, primarily because Tails doesn't always jump when you do. So you may have seen a few points already where I have gotten stuck because of that. It's on the annoying side, if we're going to be completely honest, and the infamous vertical scrolling area from Chaotix and Techno Tower. Alright, I'm going to see if I can find another set of vertical spikes to do the Tails glitch on. That's over, I think, here, is it? Ah, yes, perfect. There's Tails acting all drunk and dazed and confused and stuff. And now we're going to go on to a later part of the level, I think. Maybe just end this right here as such. And yeah, that's it. And all the graphics get glitched up because we were paused at the time, I think. And yeah, I find it interesting that even though they decided to port the game over music for Sonic 2, they were too lazy to do anything in terms of like a game complete. But I guess since the game itself isn't complete in the first place, it makes little sense to have a level complete thing. Also, here's something a little bit interesting, a little speaker type system, or alternately some sort of weird engine with screws and stuff that has Sonic's name on it. I'm really not sure what to make of it. It doesn't really seem to fit into the level at all. Also, you may notice that, in fact, the level background isn't scrolling at the moment. And once again, pay no attention to the background noise. That's just my roommate and the guy across the hall from me, who apparently aren't very good at math. Or alternately, if you're from, say, the United Kingdom, maths. Alright, now one of the things I will say is that the pause menu thing that comes up where you get to move Sonic and Tails around like that is actually available in Chaotix if you activate the level select. And that's one of the parts I was saying where Tails jumping is just really horribly annoying. Okay. There's, at this point, really not much more to say. This is presumably the nighttime type level because it's a darker palette, and this music was used in nighttime in the world entrance screen. You'll notice, though, that even though the drum samples have changed, the patterns that the drums play have not significantly. Alright. Ah, darn it. I was hoping to get up there. Okay. Yeah, it's sometimes cool to just do some weird tricks in this game. Yeah, I can't jump. If I could still jump, that would make things a lot cooler, and I think that was something that they did in fact implement in Chaotix when they did hold and jump combination controls. Darn it. That didn't work. Okay, we're running short on time, so I think this is probably going to be about it. The other things of note is that there are 2 animation patterns for the Sega screen, but I don't believe this is by any means the only game that has it. There's one in which the letters kind of scroll into place, and another one where they zoom across the screen from left to right, giant, and then scroll in left to right, small. Or it might be right to left. It's been a little while, I haven't checked, and I never thought it to be the most significant thing anyway. Also, it looks like the graphics up at this point were never really fully completed. And on that rather sour note, we close up. This is not by any means going to be my final Chaotix beta video. While it is for this game, there are going to be 13 released in the relatively near future on Sonic Retro, along with some 97 other odd games that I think you should go and check out if you're at all interested in seeing how some of the development process for games of this era were turning out. And rest assured that we'll be featuring some of them on this channel as well.